Welcome to Bad Take Philly, episode 1, the new sports podcast where we're going to talk about Philly sports. I'm Dalton, that's Aiden, Dakota, and Brendan. And let's get right into it. We're talking about Sports Week in Review first.
So first up, we're going to talk about the Eagles trade with all the picks. We're traded with the Saints. How do you guys feel?
We love it.
We love it. Fuck the Saints.
Fuck the Saints. Fuck you, Jeff.
So, overall, we just got a better value in this trade. I really do. I'm happy. I think this will allow the Eagles to build towards 2023 instead of 2022 because this is not going to be our year. We could do well, but we're not going to be in a win-now mode, at least until 2023. So I think that'll help us build towards that year.
It gives us a backup plan for quarterback. It also, we're going to improve our first-round picks for next year because we have 2 this year, and then we're going to have 2 next year. And the Saints are just not going to be as good next year because they have James Winston and
but he can see now.
Taysom Hill playing tight end. So
at $20 million a year, whatever.
Exactly. And so they're just they're not going to be as good next year. And so we could potentially have like a top 10 to 15 pick of theirs.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, the first round picks definitely matter more next year than this year because this year we're not going to be a great team. We probably will still make the playoffs just because the NFC is so weak this year.
Facts.
But next year, if we need to draft up, trade for a quarterback, get either Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, both quarterbacks are going to be really good next year. You don't have that QB this year in the class. So just for next year, a lot more valuable to have that draft capital.
Could we call it a common Howie W?
We can call it Howie W.
Not a common Howie W.
Howie.
By the end of this year, it's a common Howie W.
We need to have a down the line.
If he signs the Honey Badger.
Yes.
We
need to have another segment about how he W's and how he has more than people think.
Stay tuned for that.
I don't know about that.
He has more.
Honey Badger, because I know you're listening. I signed the Eagles, please. I'm begging.
You don't want to see Marcus Epps start?
No, Marcus Epps, he's a dog, but he's just not that guy. You know what I'm saying?
He's not a dog.
He's a good little average, below average player, but he's not going to be a Honey Badger for sure.
I'll take that.
So the Phillies, big dub today. Big dub day. Round of applause to the Phillies.
Dub yesterday too.
Yes.
They looked great. We're going to go just game 1 first. Noel looked great for 6 innings, and then the 7th inning wasn't great. But the bullpen was able to pull it together, and we got the win. The offense looked really good yesterday. And
we're best offensive team in the league.
We are the best offensive team in the league, and we're going to have more home runs than any other team for the whole season. Yeah.
Ever.
So the Sir Anthony Dominguez yesterday really impressed me with his 1 inning. He looked great. He had high velocity, high movement. Was able to strike out 2, I think. And Knievel did his closing thing, and he was able to close, which is a lot better than what we had last year when we couldn't close the game. So
a little bit of that showed through today, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, we're getting into today. This is yesterday. Yesterday the closing looked great. All right, so today Kyle Gibson was pitching, and he was great. He was excellent through 7. He only gave up 2 hits and struck out 10, and that's 1 away from his career high of 11 that he had in Texas. And
round of applause for Gibson.
Round of applause for Gibson.
Good game.
He was great. Bullpen, they showed their colors today a bit more with giving up 2 runs, but we were able to produce 4 runs. So that's the whole thing.
That's how you win a game. That's how you win baseball.
4 is greater than 2.
Facts.
4 is greater than 2. We just got to score more than our bullpen can allow because we just got to get these good starts with 1 or 2 allowed runs, and then we win. Yeah. All games.
Every game.
Still
162-0.
Still going 162-0.
Yeah.
We're on pace for that.
Our perfect season's still alive.
It is still alive.
It is definitely still alive.
It's sure still alive. So, all right. Nola, is this 2021 Nola that we got, or is this just not arm strength built up?
I was gonna say something because they were even saying with the game, the opening day game, he looked great, and then if he just hits a wall every time, which he's probably not going to because it's the first game, but if he hits a wall, then JT can't trust him to throw breaking balls. He's just gonna hang it over the zone, and he was leaving everything high.
Yeah, I like what I saw from Nola. I liked what I saw from him in spring training. He looked really good for whenever he's not tired, but he's gonna get tired, and we just need to keep him out there longer.
I don't think he produced I think they were planning on not even having like someone warm up in the bullpen until he was at like 80 pitches.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of on Girardi. Like once you see Nola start to hang his breaking balls, and you've got 2 runners on, like he's starting to struggle to at least like get someone up, like go out there, take him out of the game because he's showing that he just doesn't have it anymore.
And that's what Girardi couldn't do last year. He kept him in there until he would give up all the runs, same as yesterday. Hopefully we can learn from that this year. And then we have Nola that throws a scoreless 6, and then we hopefully can trust the bullpen to. That could have been part of not pulling Nola last year. Was he knew the bullpen was going to give up at least 2 runs as soon as you take it out anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the difference trying to send Nola out there an extra inning, extend? But back to today, the offense was good. Reese Hoskins is hot right now.
Reese Hoskins.
The best OPS
Reese
in the
Guts.
league at 2.1 something, and that's great.
Completely sustainable.
Completely sustainable. Castellanos got his first home run today, driving in Bryce Harper in the first inning.
I'm surprised he didn't get tagged out.
Harper
Trying to
got hit.
Oh yeah.
And then we sort of fell silent for 4 innings, not any offense there. And
Good
then we had
defense.
another back-to-back home run with
Hoskins.
Segura. And then, I liked the offense today because it was exciting for the home runs, but this isn't sustainable offense. And we need to get more people on base and driven in as opposed to just hitting home runs because it is fun.
I mean, we did get a good amount of people on base. We did leave a few on.
We left a lot on.
So,
But
Didi is a black hole in that offense right now. Just swinging at balls in the dirt. You can't make any. It's really bad right now.
I think
Didi.
every at bat he fell behind 0-2.
So the offense is exciting, and it's going to be a good offense. Last year, the Phillies had 4.5 runs per game. What would you expect them to have this year?
At least 5.
5.
Five's a
5.5.
really high amount, but you got just so many power hitters in that lineup. Like people can just get hot anytime, especially Hoskins, really streaky. But like when he's hot, he's hot.
I remember his start last year was really, really hot, and then he got injured, I think, for a little bit, and then he didn't really come back to full form for the rest of the season. So hopefully we're getting very healthy Hoskins started the year last year. And
he has less pressure on his shoulders now because last year he was not the main focal point of the offense, but he was one of the focal points of the offense. Whereas this year he's, that fourth, fifth tier guy where he can have less on his shoulders.
Yeah, you have Schwarber, Realmuto, Harper, Castellanos, Hoskins. There's so many people you have to deal
Hoskins
with.
should have a ton of RBIs this year.
Yeah.
Because even if 1 or 2 of those guys get on, he's just gonna have a field day.
Love to see Stock get more at bats too, especially if Didi just can't make contact with anything.
Today we had Camargo play, and I don't know why we're doing that because that's not helping our current or our future. So if we put Stott short and we have Bohm at third, I like that a lot more than putting Camargo anywhere.
Yeah, Bohm didn't look like a minor league or just like a beer league player today. He
got a good hit.
He had a couple good hits. Defense was competent. He looked like a major leaguer today.
He had a pretty bad mistake when he was a base running mistake, but
who doesn't?
Common Phillies base running mistake.
Common.
Yeah.
It's all right.
And then in the last inning, we did have our first taste of just terrible defense with a Realmuto missed his Harper
dropping the ball,
fly ball.
It was a tough play.
Yeah,
could have been some. Catch that.
Should have probably caught it still, but Realmuto just dropped a pitch, and then the guy went to second, and he just overthrew second base, or second base just couldn't get it, and then he went to third, and it was just really ugly, and nobody knew what was happening.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I mean, we're gonna have to live with that this year. What you're signing up for with the offensive heavy lineup and a lack of defenders, but you just hope that the offense most games outweighs the defense.
Yeah.
So it was an ugly finish to the day as a Philly fan. Still got the win though.
Did get the win.
The beginning of the day, however, as a Philly fan, was quite nice with the Sixers.
Yeah, Sixers won 133-120 over the Pacers. And
get fucked, Pacers.
Joe Embiid put up 37 points and 20 rebounds. And
He's over the past 4 games. He's
He
averaging
had 41 points.
41
Yeah,
points.
41.
41 points.
41 points.
over the past
oh yeah,
4
7
games. He's averaging 40 points, 15 rebounds on like 57% from the field.
Sustainable.
Does that scream
Sustainable.
MVP to you?
that screams MVP to me.
We think Jokic is the MVP?
Oh my god.
No. We
No.
think
I
Giannis
really
is the
think-
MVP?
Oh, 100%.
No.
No.
No. You think Ben Simmons is the MVP?
Absolutely
No.
not.
How many games has he played?
Zero.
Zero
Zero.
games.
Zero. Faking a herniated disc.
Fuck you,
I
Ben
don't even
Simmons.
start
Fuck you, Ben
on
Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
So, Joe had 40 points and 20 rebounds. He's done that 3 times in his career. All 3 times have been against the Pacers.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
That's,
That's a crazy stat.
He
That's
also
awesome.
broke, or he became,
Fuck the Pacers.
I believe it was the 3rd player in NBA history to have, or no, he broke the record for 40 and 10 games
Yes,
in a season.
I did see that.
That's cool.
I think
It
I
was-
saw first center to average 30 points since Moses Malone did it for the Sixers.
Yeah. I mean,
We have
he's,
good centers.
he's impressive.
Very impressive.
Something I liked about today's
MVP.
game is the 11 minutes of Paul Reed.
Yeah.
He was on the
B-ball
court.
Paul. Come on the podcast, Paul, please.
We need to get him on the podcast. But yeah, he looked good. He got a good block.
Yeah.
You get a
Sick.
sick block.
Sick block, 8 points.
I
Not
mean, you know, Embiid's obviously like the biggest focal point, but one of the X factors going into the playoffs is going to be Maxey because
Yeah.
he's had an incredible year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he
Absolute
continues
dog.
to. Yeah.
He had 18 points today, 1 rebound, 31 minutes. So,
Yeah, we'll probably talk about the most likely playing Toronto
Yeah.
in their first series.
yeah.
Just like how they match up with them and everything. But it's good just to like they play Detroit tomorrow too. Like get a couple wins, get healthy, get ready, especially Harden. Like
And the
if he's
third
still
spot
dealing with that
is
hamstring.
still available, apparently. If
Third
the
seed?
Bucks, yeah.
Do we want the 3rd seed though?
No.
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 we
Do
don't
not
want
want to play
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
So do we have a tactical loss tomorrow?
No, we're not going to do it on purpose.
Boston plays Memphis tomorrow. Memphis, I mean, they've got the 2nd seed locked up pretty much.
Memphis is
Yeah.
crazy. They're
Really
like
good.
they've only lost like 3 games without
Ja.
and they played like 20 something without him.
John might be one of the most exciting players I've ever watched in any sport.
Yeah.
He's such a fun guy
Very
to watch.
He's cool.
Yeah, so
His
Who's
hair's really
Maxey?
tall. Maxey's also.
Maxey's very fun to watch.
Yeah.
yeah, so just get ready for the series against Toronto. Matisse not playing in
Play at
Toronto.
home. Yeah.
He'll play at home, but just those games where we don't have him, like guarding Siakam.
I
He's
mean,
gonna be
Was there
Si-
anything
Si-
said about
Siakam-
why he didn't start today?
Thibault?
Matisse.
Yeah.
I
'Cause-
didn't hear anything about that.
Okay. Well, he wasn't starting,
I mean,
but-
Siakam like torched Joel when he was
Yeah.
covering him. And it was not good.
No.
Yeah, you don't really like outside of Joel. Obviously, you don't want Joel and Siakam,
Yeah.
but outside of Joel and Matisse, you don't have.
Toby was on him and he got bodied.
Yeah, like Harden is giving you nothing. He don't even want to like play defense. He just wants to walk down the court.
He.
That's how he's been his whole career, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
I mean,
frustrating.
I think it's like Harden gets a bad rap. Like he's not as bad on defense, but it's just when he, like especially that Toronto game at the end when he's not even giving any effort at all. Like it's
It's just weird because
frustrating.
like we saw it in Houston and we saw it like throughout his career after like things went bad with Houston, but like it was really because he wanted out. Like he kind of just played like shit because he wanted out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's like supposed
He
to be
wants to
happy
be here. Yeah.
He said he was so thrilled to be here. Like I don't know if it's just like a hamstring thing that he's been dealing with, or just like old age, or what. But
I know. Today he had a pretty good game. 7 for 16 field goals, but only 2 for 9 threes. His 3-point throws have not been like where he normally averages, and that's concerning.
no, he's
I mean, nothing's where it's supposed
That's
to be.
shooting wise. Like he's
Yeah.
still, he's a great passer. He can get.
His passes are sexy.
Yeah, and
Okay.
like the defense still has to respect Harden. They still have to guard him, which gives like people like Danny Green, Tobias, Niang like open threes, and they like just have to knock it down. But you still would love to see Harden elevate his games, especially against teams like Toronto. Like you're going to be playing these teams in the playoff. You'd love to see Harden like take command of the game and get his own shot.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, recently, James Harden's defense has sucked, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of suck, the Flyers.
I pulled up some Flyers stats here, so we're not going to talk about the Flyers much. Because
We're not Flyers fans.
Well, when's the last time anyone's watched the Flyers? I can't even remember the last time.
Like what was it, the Blackhawks, like the 2008 Cup or something. I watched them.
Everybody loved that game, but
It made me so sad one day. Like, lost.
Yeah,
right?
lose,
Yeah.
you lose,
Oh, terrible. It's so sad.
the Flyers are 4-6 in their last 10.
That's pretty good for them.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good for them.
Give it up the Flyers, baby.
They're 23-37 and 11 on the season,
Yikes.
and they're 7th out of 8 in the division.
Are we still on 8th?
They're not 8th.
Last season, this probably isn't completely accurate, but I remember hearing on the radio, it was something like they had 2 like 15-game losing streaks in the same season.
Wow.
It was something crazy like that. It was just
that did happen.
ridiculous.
And Flyers fans cry a lot, and like it's unfortunate that a team can be so bad for so long too. It's been a little bit.
They always sucked. So we're also going to talk about F1 a bit on this podcast because I'm a big F1 fan. Brendan's a big F1 fan now. Everybody else is watching F1. It's going to be great.
Very
Fuck you,
fun.
Max.
Very
Fuck you,
fun.
Max.
We hate Max for crashing.
He's
always
Vander Crash
crashing.
is awful.
He's terrible.
So from the qualifying for the Australia race that's happening later tonight,
So excited.
it's going to be great. The qualifying, just some points here. McLaren looks fast. The first race, they looked like they weren't going to score a single point. And now, it looks like they fixed the car a bit. They have high-speed corners in this, and it looks like there's a brake problem on the McLaren. So if you don't have to brake, they can go fast.
No, exactly.
Facts.
Especially, you'd love to see Daniel Ricciardo coming back to his home country, have a good performance.
He's
in front of his
terrible in his.
He's previously not done too well, so if he does a decent
You can
start,
change that. You know,
You can
it's
change
a
it.
new year,
it's a new year.
new Daniel, new year, new Daniel. That's what they say.
Daniel.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
People have been saying "Damn Daniel" for years. So, also Ferrari, they're still looking good, but Sainz couldn't get a good lap in because he had to lock up on his last quick lap. Wasn't that quick. So, yeah, they looked good. Leclerc's first going into the race. Mercedes pulled back to a 5-6 finish in qualifying, but they looked off the pace all practice, and I think they'll drop a few places in the race.
Yeah, Mercedes has not looked great.
No.
No.
They looked a lot better the last couple years when they won every race.
Yeah.
But now they're not winning every
Also,
race.
Latifi is a danger.
Latifi is
to
a
the
danger,
road.
and he should probably
He-
not be on the whole circuit. at all.
And both of AlphaTauri's or Alpha. Wait, AlphaTauri?
AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, one of them.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Both of their cars crashed during qualifying, so it's just,
It's not ideal for them.
no, they're a mess.
So who do we think gets first, second, third? What's your prediction here?
Leclerc,
Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris.
Norris.
Oh, that's biased.
It is
Mr.
biased.
McLaren,
It
one of
is.
their Norris fan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
I
That's
think-
what you gotta say. Yeah.
I think Norris can beat Perez.
You can be
off the
hopeful,
start.
yeah. For
Nah,
sure.
Checo's got it. He's gotten so unlucky the last couple of races.
He has, but Norris hasn't been lucky.
he's
had a
really
shit car.
only gotten like unlucky, like really unlucky
Just-
last race because at Bahrain, like he wasn't gonna win. He was gonna get podium.
He was gonna get podium, and his
But-
car just failed him.
I know,
Yeah.
but like that was a Red Bull problem. That wasn't like
Yeah, it happened to Max.
Yeah.
too.
like
But-
last race he pitted right before the safety car.
That-
which is
that
just-
was
that's like
so unlucky.
crazy.
If you don't
Yeah.
know, in F1, don't pit right before the safety car.
Yeah, because you're gonna know when
You're gonna know when
You know
it's
when
coming.
Latifi's going around and doing the safety car eventually.
He's the new Mazda spin.
Mazda spin, yeah. So, also, cool little fact. This is the first time that Valtteri has missed Q3 since 2017. He had
Yeah.
103 straight
Wow,
Q3 appearances.
it's impressive.
And he didn't get it this time.
And it should be entertaining because they made a little switch to Melbourne, and
Yeah.
so it's a quicker track and
A lot faster. People
Yeah.
are going to be setting the fastest times ever on
yeah,
that track.
all the time.
All the
Or
time.
DRS this race.
What?
4 DRS zones.
Well,
Or
they actually
DRS.
put it down to 3. But
Did
yeah,
they?
well, it was 4. But then I guess they said it was too much DRS.
Oh,
Well,
even
I
though-
you can never have
such
too much
thing as
DRS.
too much
Because
DRS.
let me tell you, fuck you, Jeff. DRS is the best.
All right. So DRS, what does it do? Makes cargo zoom, right?
Makes
Makes
cargo
cargo
zoom.
zoom.
So very fast cars. What else was fast this year? Maybe the draft class was pretty fast.
It was pretty fast.
It was.
yeah.
fast.
So what are we thinking about the draft? Like, is
I'm
there?
excited.
I'm sorry for the
What are your
draft.
thoughts?
I really don't think we can go too wrong with positions. Now with Howie,
You got Howie drafting.
No.
So be very careful
with
of that statement.
positions with Howie, you can always go wrong with players. But if we get receiver corner linebacker, corner safety. Like we have a lot of different options where I'd be okay with it. Edge.
We have a lot of holes that need to be filled.
Yeah.
So as long as we don't take like a quarterback, I'd cry. I would genuinely cry if we drafted a quarterback.
Unless we drafted Malik Willis.
No, man. Not in the first round.
I wouldn't hate it, but I would not be happy. He's not going to be there.
He's got all the tools.
So don't worry about it.
He's got the potential.
He's got all of them?
And Nick Sirianni is going to mold him.
But you need weapons for tools.
Oh, you got Devontae. You got Quez.
You
got Jalen Rager.
Fuck you, Jalen Rager. Fuck you.
We're not
I love throwing to Jalen Rager.
We should block him on the...
Yeah, we should block him because he would be. Actually, he would get offended about that. He's on Instagram and Twitter all day long. When he's not playing football, he just sits there at home. I don't think he does anything else. He doesn't eat, sleep. He's just on Instagram. He's like,
ribbits.
Block this guy, block that guy. Oh, let me post this 4-yard screenplay that I like just tripped on my own. Like, so he might get offended at that.
How we and the organization and the players have made us very angry over the past 5-6 years with drafting receivers because we've drafted a lot of receivers very early and very poorly.
Incorrectly, and then missed out on players drafted one pick behind them.
Correct. We won't say who that is, but Justin Jefferson has 3,000 yards.
Jefferson.
And since he's been drafted...
He does degree, too.
Since he's been drafted, wide receiver...
that's crazy.
Since he's been drafted, Eagles wide receivers have had 4,100 yards, and he has 3,100 yards.
Wow.
So, yeah. But this year, if we draft a wide receiver in the first round, there's some good options, and I mean, there's some decent options, but
Who's your favorite?
My favorite's Chris Olave, out of Ohio State. And I mean, him and Garrett Wilson are carbon copies of each other.
What are they known for? What's their biggest attribute to add to our team?
Chris Olave is, I mean, they're both they're good on the outside and the inside, so we can use them in the slot. We can use them anywhere. The only weakness Olave is known for is he's not big enough to win off the line all the time, so he has to sharpen his routes to be able to get open all the time. But
so Devontae?
Yeah, I saw a thing that he his comparison was Devontae. They're both really smooth route runners.
Yeah. Devontae proved this year that he could be a wide receiver.
Yeah, great
sure.
hands. Olave just great speed.
Mm-hmm.
The size thing is a little bit of an issue, but I mean, see if he gets to the next level, if corners keep impressing, just if he has great releases, so if you can get off the bigger corners, they can't even get their hands on him. Him and Devontae could be a really good one.
We need separation for Hurts. Hurts needs some separation.
One of his positives, in his draft profile, is he gets off the ball very quick. So even though he's not the biggest guy, he can use his speed to beat anyone, and he has good hands and he can play inside or out. So I mean, I think he'd complement Devontae well. And then we have Quez, where he's not going to be the X receiver his first year, but yeah.
What other receivers do you have that could be a...
I mean, again, him and Garrett Wilson are very, similar. They're, almost the same exact height and weight. Chris Olave is just faster. There's Drake London, which I know Dakota hates.
It's a sick name now. Sick name, Drake London.
Not a fan of Drake London.
I'm not a huge fan, but, I don't think he's terrible. I mean, he's huge.
Is he a good fit? He's a big guy.
He's a big body receiver, which would, I think, go well across from Devontae, but I would personally love to see Treylon Burks in an Eagles uniform. He's out of Arkansas, big receiver. He runs fast for his size. Yeah, he'll be there in 15, 19 where we're drafting. Just big fan of Treylon Burks. They use him kind of similar. He himself has said that he sees himself as a Debo type player, where he can take jet sweeps, he can land up in the backfield, take handoff, stuff like that.
That does make me nervous, though.
Debo's got an interesting...
Debo came out today, for those who didn't see, and said that his team said that he is the best and most valuable non-quarterback player in the entire league. And so he wants to get paid a lot of money, which is besides the point. But the point is that it's hard to find another Debo. Debo's a unicorn. He is almost impossible to replicate, and you have to have a coach that can use him to his full potential. So if we're drafting someone that reminds us of Debo, it's kind of scary.
It's scary, but it's it's still exciting. He's got a weird because he could it's a weird situation because obviously they came out and said that, which means they value him, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, him and Nick Bosa both need to get paid, and so it's like they're gonna need to pick which one to pay like right away. And like, if like he even says himself that he's like a wide back because he's like a wide receiver and a running back. So like, if they use that against him, because receivers get paid a lot more.
This is true.
But
for a wide
probably
receiver,
not.
he definitely could be a player that ages faster than others because of the amount of hits that he takes.
Yeah.
I just still think the talent with Burks. Like, he's playing against SEC defenses. Like, he just torched Alabama.
Is he got a lot of yak?
A lot of yak. Yes.
love yak.
He's hard to
We love
tackle.
yak.
Chris Olave
Yak's
gets a lot of
great.
yak.
Chris Olave also gets a lot of yak. Yeah. No, I'd love to see Traylon Burks.
In later rounds, the guy that I really, really love is David Bell.
Yes.
Because he's very good.
In relation to Le'Veon?
No relation.
not.
That would be cool.
Out of Purdue, he just finds a way to get open, can catch the football really well. He's not the fastest. I think I saw he ran like a 4.6, but
That's kind of scary.
4.65.
he's always open. He just catches everything. He's a great contested catch player.
If we want a big body receiver, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State, he's another option.
He's a boom or bust type player. Like, he didn't have great stats, especially playing in the FCS, not playing great competition. But he ran like in the 4.3s, has a like big body. So if you could get his full potential out of him, he could potentially just be extremely dangerous.
High
in the
ceiling
NFL.
flyer?
Yes.
We like those.
Yes.
Is that all for wide receivers?
Yeah, there's a couple secondary players who are... I mean, there's a lot of really good secondary players. Obviously, Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley, they're not going to be where
I
we want
don't
them.
think they'll be at.
But we could get Trent McDuffie out of Washington.
That's what
and
this article predicts at pick 18.
McDuffie?
Yeah.
And we could get Andrew Booth. I know you're a huge fan of him.
Big fan of
from
Andrew
Clemson.
Booth.
And I like Kyle Hamilton, the safety, but I don't know if he's going to be there.
I don't know. Like, if we sign Matthew, obviously, I don't think we need Hamilton. But Hamilton is he's one of the most talented players in the draft. But it's just going to be interesting to see if he falls down draft boards because he had a really, really terrible 40 in his pro day. I think he ran like 4.7.
4.59.
4.59. Was
Yeah.
that at the combine?
Yeah.
So I think he ran like significantly slower at his pro day.
Really?
He could be like
He's
more.
a bigger
Yeah,
guy.
he's like a
6'4".
closer to like a linebacker body. So
Yeah.
you have him playing like in the box more and like run defense. He'd be really great at that. He's not like a Derwin James type where he just has like all sorts of crazy range. He's gonna just erase balls over the middle. But Hamilton is still an extremely talented player that I would love to see here.
Yeah,
if we got the chance.
There's like the other guys I kind of noted was Jaquan Brisker, who went to Penn State. He's a safety, and then Khalil Alam, who a lot of drafts have going to Buffalo. So, I mean, I'm not sure where he goes because like it's later in the draft in the first round. And then Daxton Hill out of Michigan, he's quick, he's good.
The thing about Elam is he is a really good man player. His zone coverage is kind of lacking, and Jonathan Gannon runs more zone coverage. So that's why I'd like to see more like of Andrew Booth. Andrew Booth played...
And McDuffie.
And McDuffie.
Yeah.
They played primarily zone in college. Andrew Booth especially, really good zone player and can tackle really well. So I'd love to see that kind of player come. I think he fits a lot better into like what the scheme we're doing is in Philly than like a man corner like Elam.
So the position that I really want to see is linebacker. Out of Lloyd and Dean, who do you think is the better fit for the Eagles and why?
I mean, they're both very good.
Do you not care who we get, or do you have a preference?
I kind of just have them both as the best linebackers, and I mean, it's not close. Like, there's no one behind them that's like close to them, but
Big drop off.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose, I'd probably take Devin Lloyd. Like, I was just seeing some things about Nakobe Dean. Like, he played on that Georgia defense, which is a historically great defense in college, and he kind of benefited from Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt playing on the D-line, just eating up guards and tackles, and he's got free lanes to run through and make tackles. Nakobe Dean is still a great player.
You think the defense kind of made him a little bit?
Yes.
Bigger.
It's a good point.
Devin Lloyd just is a freak of a player.
Yeah.
Love to see, again, Devin Lloyd. I don't know if we take a linebacker because we signed Kaiser White in free agency, and we never value linebackers.
We never do. It'd be awesome.
Would be awesome.
If we don't draft a receiver, like, I mean, again, there's a lot of ways we can go, but we need an edge rusher.
Yeah.
He had a decent edge just for like another year.
Brandon Graham's 34. Sweat is a decent
I have a
player.
couple guys
And
here.
Barnett can get like many penalties.
Many
so we're
penalties.
doing great.
That's
we're doing
we
great.
love Derek Barnett. That
him.
typical common Howie W, right? Re-signing
That's a
Derek
terrible
Barnett.
Howie W. L.
Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. I don't know exactly where he's going.
He keeps flying up draft boards. Like he was not projected anywhere near the first round to the Senior Bowl.
He's huge. He's 6'5", 260.
I'm pretty sure he was a Senior Bowl MVP, and that's when you really started to see him climb up draft boards. I saw him like at 8 today to Atlanta, so I don't know if he's there.
From what I've read, overall he's a good fit, and I from what I've seen, he's like a good fit for the locker room because there's a lot of guys especially on the defensive side who are just big, tough. Always in the gym, and he seems like one of those guys. And
us.
Like us.
We'll go to the gym.
and his biggest weaknesses are from the draft profile. His hands are violent, they say, but they're not developed. So
What the fuck does that mean?
it's he's just a violent player, and he's not. He has
He's like a raw player.
He has no finesse.
I took that as his hands are or something.
So I think he could benefit from the locker room. We have a lot of veterans that he could learn from.
Yeah, Graham, Cox, those are definitely mentors you want to learn from. And we're always good with drafting defensive players, and especially on the line, developing those type of players.
Yeah, and then there's George Karlaftis from Purdue.
I like that
He
name.
kind of struggles against the run.
One player I'd really like to see, if he's still there in the second round, David Ojabo. Before he tore the Achilles.
I don't know.
Boston Achilles are rough to come back from.
I have
terrific
him.
athlete.
I know. I have him as someone that you might want to stay away from.
It's definitely something with he's got tons of physical upside.
Yes.
You could say
He has no experience.
He has no experience. This is his only good year in college was playing across from Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick. So you could say maybe part of his production was because he's got Hutchinson on the other side, and we know drafting players with Achilles don't always end up well. Sidney Jones.
It's
He's
definitely
doing
tough.
okay now, and good for him. I'm not mad about it.
But Ojabo, he only played 20 games in college. He only played 20 games in college, and he had limited snaps against Georgia in the playoffs, which is just weird. And that's not a huge red flag, but there's more red flags than green flags for me because you can find physical guys everywhere.
That's fair. I just think if he's available in the second round, if you want to take a chance on the upside and developing him, I think Philly is really good at developing defensive lineman players.
He's quick for
he's
4'5".
He's such a good athlete for the size and everything.
Yeah,
so
250, 6'4".
love if he's there.
Yeah,
I would take him.
Yeah.
So this mock draft from CBS 8 hours ago has Philly going Devin Lloyd at 15 and Jameson Williams at 18.
Wow, really?
So
Jameson Williams might not be there.
He's again, he had the ACL.
I know,
ACL.
but
So
I go back and forth because he's amazing and he's quick, but I don't know.
He's 4.25 speed, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's crazy.
He's so fast. I want to see we come away with a corner. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Get a corner across from Slay.
Yeah.
It better be at least one defensive player. I would like 2 defensive players.
We're not going to take 2 offensives. That makes no sense.
But you never know. We took a quarterback and a fucking left tackle for
I think if you can
Howie.
draft a corner, if you somehow get Matthew to come into Philly,
Yes.
that's a really good defense coming in next year.
Yes. Do we see? Again, it's very unpredictable, but Howie loves trades and ammo. So do you think he's gonna trade up, trade down? Do you think he's gonna do anything in the draft?
I would not be shocked if we had one more trade back.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you never stop guessing what pick we have until the pick is run up to the podium and taken. With Howie, he can always
even afterwards. You kind of question.
No, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
With that, Howie loves to do the deal. He loves making trades. Yeah, we'll see with that.
We own and dealing. Are we doing my take or all of our takes?
I don't have a take.
We only
don't
have
have to take just yours.
Okay. So on this Bad Takes Today podcast, we're gonna have some takes at the end of each
Episode.
podcast.
Personal takes.
Personal
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah.
And my take is that Dallas Goddard will be the best tight end in Eagles history in the Super Bowl era
Wow.
by the end of his tenure here.
That's so hard.
Goddard.
So over Ertz and Selleck.
Over Ertz, over Selleck. I had to go back and look in the history books. Apparently, we had a tight end like way longer. That was
So
like,
Ertz
insane.
and Selleck.
So Ertz and Selleck. Yes.
I don't.
I mean,
see
he
better
might
than
he might
Ertz.
be he might be able to be the most talented.
I'm not. I don't want to include like Ertz and Selleck's Super Bowl rings in the conversation.
No, but like Ertz.
But you can if you want. But I don't think that's
Ertz was
a part of that team
top
for sure.
3 tight end.
For sure. But I think Goddard has the potential. I think he's going to have a huge year this year. If you look at Ertz's targets from the past, if you want to pull it up, Ertz's targets for the past 5-6 years when he was on the team, he was getting 120, 104, so many targets this man was getting. And Carson Wentz. And like, he was getting production, but if you gave Dallas Goddard those targets, which we're looking to this year, because Ertz gave up 31 targets, he's leaving the team 31 targets. You think hopefully Dallas gets at least half, maybe 20 of those targets, let's say. Dallas had, I think, 76 targets last year. If you give him 20, he's almost at 100 targets. Dallas Goddard with 100 targets is going to have over 1,000 yards. And touchdowns are pretty random, but maybe he gets 10 touchdowns, 1,000 yards as a tight end.
That's his upside, I think.
From 2015 to
I don't think so. I think
2019,
it's
he got over 100 targets every year.
And 156 targets in 2018. 156. That's
156.
That's a ton of targets.
Crazy.
So if we give Goddard, who has his yards per target and yards per reception are like 4 or 5 higher than Ertz, which is insane. Zach Ertz is like a 7 yards per target type of guy, and Goddard's like a 10 or 11 yards per target type of guy. And he's going to be, he could be the biggest part of our offense this next year. He could be bigger than Smith.
100%.
So you think he's going to be bigger than Smith already?
I mean, I think they're pretty...
Maybe a good 1-2 punch. Like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but just better.
Yeah, just better. No, I mean, Dallas Goddard definitely, like... It's just tough because, like, who knows who is going to be throwing him the ball in his career. Like, that...
But that's fine. Like, I don't think...
So how, like... We can't measure it off of, like, who we think is the best. Like, it's gonna
Okay, so let's
have
assume
to
it's
be
Hurts for next year, and then afterwards we have a average to above average quarterback, hopefully.
I don't know. I don't think...
I don't know if Goddard gets there. I mean, we've been saying since 2018, like, I know we were saying it last year, like, oh, this could be the year that Goddard really, like, breaks out in that top 3, like, in the league.
This is going to be the year where he breaks out. He might not be top 3 because there's a lot of good tight ends right now, but
Yeah.
he's going to be up there in the numbers. Top 5, yeah, definitely could be up in top 5. But last year he found a new way to play, and he started getting those yards after catch. His yards per catch.
So Zach Ertz yards per touch for most of his stay was around 10 yards per touch. If you go to Goddard, it was 14.8 for last year.
That makes sense.
So he's
No Yak Zach.
He's coming. No Yak Zach and Yak Goddard. He's coming into this new way of playing that I think is sustainable, and I think, especially because at the end of last year, you could start seeing us really start scripting him the ball. He'd get those screens, and he'd take those screens. He was really good at taking
the
those
screens definitely need to be, like, a huge part of our offense.
Yeah, and he's really good at them, especially for a tight end.
Yeah.
And I just think that with the amount of yards he gets per catch, he was super efficient last year, which is not really sustainable, but hopefully if he does like half of that sustainability, half of that efficiency,
Yeah.
I think he could really just become a new monster next year, and hopefully continue that for years to come and become the greatest Eagles tight end in the modern era, Super Bowl era.
I just would like to see Goddard be more consistent.
Yes.
He has
Too many drops.
drop issues.
He does drop a couple balls.
And it just feels like it comes in the most important parts, like on third downs. You throw in the ball, important games, and he drops the ball. It's a lot of drop balls.
And it always seems like from what I saw last year, like his drops come when he has a ton of open field.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like
He definitely had a couple big drops.
It's not like against Washington, like it's not like someone's coming at him. Like he just has drops where he could have like a 30-40 like huge yard play.
But what if I told you that he has a 13% higher catch percentage than Ertz in his career?
Well, I mean, it's a smaller sample size.
It's a pretty big sample size.
Pretty good, yeah. 57 games.
He has a lot of
It's
games.
decent.
Like he's historically caught more balls than Zach Ertz
Yeah.
on a higher percentage. Which Zach Ertz has played with worse. Quarterback play's been about the same.
Yeah, because Ertz also played with the MVP caliber.
Yeah, and he also played with some.
Yes.
But no, he has a very good catch percentage. I think he just had a couple really key drops that we all remember.
Yeah, no,
he
that's
had
fair.
2 or 3 that were just like horrific.
Yeah,
which hopefully he can.
I mean,
get those out of
he's
his game.
also more of a like 50-50 ball catcher. Like he can go up and just
He
get
can
any
go
ball.
up. We saw it in person at the Jets game where he
game,
just went sicko mode.
Yeah.
He had a couple 100-yard games to end the year, so hopefully he can build off of that and like finally have that breakout year that we thought has been coming for years. Like if he was to go down as the greatest tight end in Philly history, definitely would not be opposed to that at all. I'd be very happy.
Oh,
It'd
yeah.
be great. He had 2 games last year with 0 targets, which is
Really? How is that possible?
just not
Oh.
ideal.
And he had 76 targets total. So
Yes. Wow.
So he really needs to. It's not his fault, I don't think.
No, not at all.
no.
He might have actually been hurt in one of those games. But anyway, he had some
missed
games.
the Tampa game.
He had some games where he had very, very little targets, which I mean, there's going to be games where your players get little targets because they're schemed out or whatever. But he needs to be a player that's getting 6 targets at minimum
At least
every game.
I mean, you see Waller, guys like that.
Yeah.
Even Kelsey.
Kelsey gets 10 a game.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to be.
Yeah.
And if he can get that 10 targets a game, like he's going to be
He
a
also
top 3 tight end in terms of
didn't
numbers.
play the Dallas game at the end of the year. We rest all our starters.
No, he played that game. He had like 12 targets that game.
Second Dallas game?
Yeah, the last game.
Really?
I think he played.
I don't think he played that game.
I'm pretty sure I saw him. Maybe the game before. I don't know. He got a lot of targets in one of the last games. But yeah, no, I think he takes a huge step this year. He took a big step last year, but I think this is the year where he finally has no Ertz in his way.
Yeah.
We love your Ertz, but you're in his way. Congrats on the baby. No, I think this is the year where he comes out and he could put up numbers close to even maybe greater than Mark Andrews and Kelsey and Waller, those guys.
Be big.
That would
I mean,
be
he's
big.
he's definitely better than guys like Hawkinson. He's better than Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Hawkinson is like the focal point, and
Still good.
yeah,
I mean, that team's. I mean, that organization. Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Popping.
turning it around.
They're not turning anything.
Sure they
around.
are.
They have DJ Chark as a wide
Yeah,
receiver,
they're gonna bite the kneecaps off of everyone.
too. Dave Campbell mentality.
Yeah. I'm so glad we got Sirianni over Campbell.
Yeah, I wanted either Campbell or Salah.
I did want Salah.
I wanted Salah too, and that's not.
I mean, Sirianni's surprised. Like, we laughed at him. Everyone laughed at him.
Oh, he was the biggest joke, especially what was
The
that
rock,
going
paper,
into
scissors
press
the rock paper
conferences?
scissors going into
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was the Detroit game with the flowers. We got to water the
The
flowers.
Yeah.
Flowers turned our franchise around.
The rock paper scissors in training camp and the constant stuttering.
The
Like
press
the-
conference was horrible.
Yes.
Best thing about a receiver to whatever it needs to catch the
Catch
ball.
the ball.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
It was. I mean, he's definitely turned out to be like, and he changed he changed our team like 4 or 5 games into the season.
For sure.
because
You're now
we-
run first.
Yes, and like
Yes.
it takes a lot for a head coach to like take a step back and be like, you know what, like maybe because he's
Especially a wide receiver coach.
exactly. So he's an offensive guy. I mean, like a passing guy, and he took a step back and said like, my mentality isn't going to work in this scheme or in this for this team, and we got to change our scheme, which is impressive. Because I don't think a lot of head coaches would do that.
no, and the players didn't quit on him either, especially like when they were 2-5, and definitely tons of Eagles fans were clowning on Sirianni, saying he wasn't cut out. Like I remember all the time, like, oh wow, this is like the worst hire in franchise history.
Yeah,
Like
because-
it's just a failure, and they didn't
Yeah.
quit aside from Fletcher Cox, but I'll say that for another time. Yeah, no, they definitely continue to just follow him, and he showed like how good of a leader he is, how he can adjust. So I'm excited for Sirianni going into next year.
Fire Glenn, bad coach.
Yeah, Doc
Yeah.
Rivers. We're talk about
Nick
Glenn.
Sirianni, good coach.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So,
I think that concludes our first episode of Bad Take. So thank you for listening.
thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Fuck
next
you,
week.
Jeff.
Fuck you, Jeff.